Hello and welcome to today's May 7th daily news report, as well as ongoing stimulus check information. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now for all the best information on what's going on in Washington, D.C., stimulus checks, the economy, investing money, and much, much more. By the way, hey community, check out this new shirt. You are amazing. I'm going to be letting you know where you can buy this shirt, and I'm going to be giving some away. I built 4 new shirts to share with my community, and I'll be doing a giveaway as soon as I'm back in Utah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the news. Now, last week, I told you how Senator Hawley, Josh Hawley, wants to give working families with kids a $12,000 tax credit in order to offset the rising cost of raising a family in the United States. Well, now he is saying it might be good to do this tax credit as a month-to-month payment to families so that these families have the money to raise their children throughout the year and not just as a lump sum payment in April once they get their tax return. So this would create $1,000 a month for married couples and $500 a month for single parents with kids. This is huge. This could be an absolute game changer as far as helping raise children out of poverty, making sure that families have incentive. Earlier this week, I talked to you about the fact that our birth rate is going down every single year. And so we don't want to become the next Italy, where they're literally paying people to move to Italy or allowing people to buy a house for $1 in order to incentivize you to move to their country. So this is a big change, right? And there was also a Democrat representative that wanted to see close to $8,000 in tax credits. But Senator Hawley came out and said, now that he's given it some thought, a $1,000 monthly payment might be the answer for families with kids. Okay, now for those of you with kids, let me know in the comments, would you rather have $1,000 a month so that you have money throughout the year? Or do you prefer to get a one-time lump sum paid to you each spring? I know people that they like getting that tax return. They like getting that tax credit one time a year. I personally would rather have it month to month, but please let me know in the comments, okay? Now, one hang-up that might, dampen this excitement is why is he considering giving more money to married people versus single parents? I know that there's going to be some pushback, and I'm already reading it. Some are saying, hey, this is a great idea, but it should be based on how many children are in a house and not based on whether you're married or not. Now, I know that Senator Hawley is trying to give preferential treatment to people that are married, working, and have kids. So that's why he has it that way. But he is receiving some pushback saying, hey, if I'm a single parent, I still need just as much help as a married couple, okay? So the other thing is, does it make sense to base this on how many children you have and not based on whether you're married, right? So for example, my cousin that has 6 kids probably needs to be treated different than my sister who has 1 kid, right? 6 kids versus 1 kid is a very big difference. Now, these large tax credits are most likely necessary and a move in the right direction, but they still need to dial in, how do we do this and how do we make it feel fair to the rest of the country? Because I can tell you right now, singles and seniors that don't have children are already going to be left out. But don't worry, if you missed my update last night, go back and watch that, because Senator Bernie Sanders said he's specifically looking out for single people, people on Social Security, people on SSI, people on SSDI. He wants to see a change in the way that you're receiving benefits. So make sure to check out yesterday's update. All right, now, as the nation finally starts to reopen, we are getting mixed messages from notable Democrats like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Both have endorsed the restaurant relief fund that I told you about earlier this week. In fact, Chuck Schumer was bragging about being a part of helping to reopen a cheesecake factory. However, they are sending mixed messages because on the one hand, they say things like, we need more stimulus checks. On the other hand, they are pushing to reopen jobs and reopen the economy. I think that both could be good, as not everybody needs a stimulus check going forward, but everybody needs help getting back on their feet and getting back to work, right? Especially if you're still in those working years. So it's hard to predict right now where they're going to go with a fourth stimulus check. But last time the stimulus checks came at the very end. So stick with me. But we are getting some mixed messages from the two highest Democrat leaders in Washington, D.C. As of right now, it's looking like a stimulus check would gain support very, very quickly for the Build Back Better plan or the American Families Plan if it were brought up in committees or brought up last minute. It seems that most Democrats would jump on board to push something through, whether it's $600, $1,200, $1,400, or $2,000. It has the potential to gain momentum at the last minute as far as Democrats go. Okay. Now, Biden has been bragging as he tours the country. I'll tell you a little bit more about his stop in Louisiana here in a minute. But he's been bragging about how good the stimulus check program was. And so that's why there's still hope that there could be another one coming out in the near future. Now, we still have not heard back from the head of education on his opinion on student loan forgiveness. He's still deciding whether to make an offer in the Build Back Better plan or in the American Families Plan, or should it just be an executive order? He was supposed to get back to us by now and hasn't. So hopefully by early next week, I have some update on that. I know that about 140 million Americans have student loan debt. So that's a big, big topic. And I want to get you information on that. The other thing that we don't have concrete information on just yet is, will it be $0 in loan forgiveness, $10,000 in loan forgiveness, $50,000 in loan forgiveness, or some kind of in-between number? We just don't know yet. But I do know this: people that don't have student loans are already starting to feel cheated by the fact that they won't have credit card debt removed or home loan forgiveness, right? So they're throwing out these programs that sound really good, but it alienates a large group of Americans. Now, many Americans have tweeted that they've invested their entire stimulus check into the meme coin Doji Coin ahead of the Saturday Night Live being hosted by Elon Musk of Tesla. He is the number one pusher of Doji Coin. You should be very, very careful. I'm not saying that Doji Coin isn't a good thing. In fact, I'm probably going to do a video about it tomorrow because crypto has a place in your portfolio. But if a crypto is only being driven up by somebody attending Saturday Night Live or by two billionaires pushing it because they've put a significant amount of money in, you just need to be very cautious, because if they pull their money out, it's like having the rug ripped out from under you. Now, again, I'll be doing more digital currency videos and money videos in the coming weeks. Again, it's just something that you should be aware of and something that you should put money into, but you need to know your limits, right? My best advice would be never put money into crypto that you're not willing to lose, because it's just that volatile. Now, by the way, I will never text you on YouTube asking if you would like crypto or stock investment advice. Those are scammers. Ignore them, report them. It's not me, okay? Now, the stock market has been taking huge hits recently, as analysts say we may be in a huge bubble, as an insane number of Americans have started to invest in the stock market for the first time during quarantine. Now, this is good news. I believe that you have to become a good saver and then deploy that money into investments, right? You can't save your way to wealth, but you also can't become wealthy without a good savings habit. The problem is, people that are going into the stock market for the first time, they're a little bit jumpy because they've never seen the volatility of the stock market. And so a big rush of billions of dollars going in could also have billions of dollars coming out. And so many analysts on Wall Street are afraid that we could be in a bubble caused by new investors' lack of financial education. But hey, that's why you're on this channel, so I can financially educate you, right? All right, now, as we discussed earlier this week, Biden made a stop in Louisiana just yesterday to pitch his new infrastructure bill in hopes of gaining Republican support by discussing specific infrastructure upgrades that would happen in Louisiana. As discussed earlier this week, Senator Kennedy wasn't optimistic, and now we have the other senator, Senator Cassidy, also saying that he is not fond of President Biden's massive bloated spending bills. They are both for infrastructure and helping Louisiana and the other 49 states, but not at the expense of running the national debt to over $30 trillion and having inflation make everything more expensive for everybody. So Senator Cassidy is saying, I hope we can find common ground, right? 4 trillion versus 600 billion. Where's the common ground? That's what they need to find and work on in Washington, D.C. Now, Biden did discuss being open to the idea of doing a corporate tax increase, but not to 28%. He has now publicly said maybe that 25% is the sweet number. It would attract more Republicans to the deal. It would also make the conservative Democrats happy while still giving them the money to do some kind of infrastructure bill, but maybe not $4 trillion worth of infrastructure bill. The 25% figure, the 25% corporate tax rate, is definitely being used to appeal to Republicans and conservative Democrats. Mitch McConnell, who is the minority Senate leader now, recently said that he has that he's 100% focused on stopping the new administration's plan. So he doesn't want to see this $4 trillion go through at all. And he believes that most of the country doesn't want to see it go through. Now, yesterday, I asked you guys, if there's no stimulus checks in the plan, do you support adding $4 trillion? And the majority of you said no, which was really interesting, right? So if they're not going to help the American people, then they might actually be hurting the American people by having the national debt go so high and having inflation go so high. So again, they've got to find the right balance. Now, responding to McConnell saying he's 100% against the Biden administration's plan, President Biden said, look, he said this during the Obama administration, and we were still able to get a lot done. So he's just going to move forward with or without Mitch McConnell. Now, Mitch McConnell still has a very strong voice in the Republican Party. So Biden getting McConnell on board would go a long way towards getting other Republicans on board. But right now, it looks like there's gridlock, and it all comes down to that $4 trillion number. All right, now, one of the White House correspondents for Biden said, well, I guess the contrast for people to consider is 100% of our focus is on delivering relief to the American people, on getting the pandemic under control and putting people back to work. And we welcome and support engagement and work with Republicans on that. So Mitch McConnell saying, I'm 100% against the new Biden plan. And the Biden team is saying, we're 100% for the people. So they're both putting out these 100% messages, right? This statement was made after the previous possibility of more stimulus. The White House has said that they are 100% focused on delivering for the American people. So will that be in the form of a fourth stimulus check? Will that be in the form of expanding Medicaid and Medicare? Will that be in the form of student loan forgiveness or a $200 increase for people on Social Security benefits? There's a lot of areas that they could go down as far as supporting the American people. Now, I can't say 100% that they will do a fourth stimulus check. However, I wouldn't discount it at this point because, again, the stimulus checks have been thrown in at the last minute. I don't think that they will do one for all 150 million Americans, but they could do something like Mitch McConnell proposed last summer, where he said, if you make under a certain amount, then you qualify. That way, they are helping out those that are on benefit programs that are dealing with the rising cost of living and not having a boost in income. They might also be helping families that earn under, say, $50,000 to get back on their feet, pay off some debt, put some money away in savings, put food on the table, a roof over their heads. So we could see a more targeted stimulus check. Again, I'm here to report on it, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up with crazy titles or any misleading information. This is just what's going on in the news today. You should always keep in mind that the government is slower to get things done than the American people want. But that doesn't mean that it won't happen, right? We still have the Build Back Better plan that we need to do, and we still have the American Families Plan, which some analysts are saying would be the better bill to throw another stimulus check into, because it is being dubbed or considered a social infrastructure bill versus a physical infrastructure bill. All right, now Biden is receiving criticism and pushback. Just the other day, he said, maybe it's time for us to lift the patent on vaccines so that they can be distributed to other countries faster. He received a lot of pushback saying, hey, the thing that makes America great is the protection of intellectual property and patents, right? One of the biggest issues against China is that they steal our technology and they break patent law. And so they're saying, no, don't do that. Meanwhile, Senator Elizabeth Warren said, that's a fantastic idea on Twitter. All right. Now, I'd like to know, what do you think? Do you think that Biden should stick with the American spirit of protecting intellectual property, or is now a unique time where they should open it up and give those vaccine secrets to the rest of the world? Let me know in the comments, all right? All right, now before I go, I want to just share a few comments that I read yesterday. Maureen said, thank you for so much help, President Stephen. You're very welcome. While Will said, are you a cyborg? Your teeth are exceptionally perfect. Thank you, Maureen. And Will, I'm not a cyborg, but if you think about it, isn't that what a cyborg would say? All right, I want to remind you as we go into the weekend that you are amazing. I appreciate you being in my community. Before you go, if you want to learn about 5 simple steps for better understanding money and building wealth, check out the video I did at the Bonneville Salt Flats last week. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video.